Shojo is a Japanese marketing segment which can be translated to maiden or girl, that caters to a female audience. The primary demographic of shoujo anime or manga are female viewers of about 12 to 18 years of age. Shoujo has a number of unique features that distinguishes it from other marketing segments as well as from other content that seeks female viewership from groups like Western audiences. Like all Japanese marketing segments, shoujo has a number of features that provides nuance to this category in a way that creates a sense that it is not only a marketing segment, but a genre unto itself. In particular, although it is generally accepted as girls' anime, shoujo is often enjoyed by people of all ages and genders. Furthermore, the notion that shoujo itself is solely about what it is to be a girl is somewhat of a misnomer, as on a deeper level, shoujo explores the feminine. All things that are exist on some type of a spectrum, so as it is juxtaposed by shonen, which examines the essence of the male audience, shoujo does the same for the female. So while shonen might explore adventuring beyond one's limits and self-determination, shoujo explores the inner self, and rather than vision, the fortitude of one's virtues. These virtues being the substance of who you are and what you do without a vision of where you want to be, or of the choices you want to make. In terms of the more aesthetic aspects of the shoujo, the ideals of shoujo are often depicted in slice-of-life programs that explore the mundane, like day-to-day living, but shoujo is not foreign to programs about action or adventure. However, one theme that is often associated with shoujo is magic, as the magical girl is a key archetype in the shoujo brand. The magical girl, which has had many incarnations, is seen as early as the 1960s. It depicts a girl that with the aid of her magic transforms into a being of great power. In this way, the magical girl speaks to some inherent power, something derived from the inner self that gives her strength and power, something she has to tap into rather than something that she has to achieve. These aspects of the shoujo depicted in various genres of anime can be seen in some very popular programming, like
In the Name of the Moon!
Sailor Moon, Card Captors, Fruit Baskets, Tokyo Mew Mew, Magic Knight Rayearth, Natsumi's Book of Friends, Ouran Host Club, Yona of the Dawn, Rainbow Days, and My Love Story. Now, of the most commonly known traits of shoujo, romance is the most ubiquitous. Romance as the most common feature of shoujo is depicted primarily through shoujo's genre. Of the many genres of shoujo in existence, most of them are romances or at least slice-of-life programs that have romantic themes. As a genre, romance focuses on the love of two or more people and how those feelings overcome adversity. Often misunderstandings, lack of confidence, and propriety in more grounded slice-of-life genres, and sometimes alien or mystical forces in the more action or fantasy shoujo series in hopes of finding the one that is most important to them. On a fundamental level, although this romantic preponderancy is attributed to its marketing category being for girls, the truth is more accurately described in that shoujo itself isn't for girls exactly, but rather the feminine. As previously discussed, there is a spectrum that exists in the realm of all things, and in this case, marketing between girls and boys. If the hero's journey is the outward-facing masculine journey and examines self-determination, the feminine journey is one that is inward and examines community, such as who is the protagonist to herself or hisself, and how should the protagonist exist best in relation to other people. Shoujo examines such concepts as not so much an aspect of what it is to be a girl or girl-like, but as an aspect of the feminine and therefore all of the themes that would exist on that end of the spectrum of masculinity and femininity. Which is why relationship and queerness are common themes and tropes in shoujo that juxtapose themselves to the more individualistic themes of masculinity.
気楽にやりましょうね。 旦那様のお姉様が私なんかに教えてくださるなんてとても光栄です。
Shojo's use of relationship as a theme is far deeper than the friendship aspects of relationship as depicted in most shonen, for instance. Shojo looks to embody or reveal relationship in its totality and isn't bound to either platonic relationships like friendship or even romantic relationships. In their use of relationship, they illuminate the complex ties of the human experience. The rival relationship, the mentor-mentee relationship, the step-parent relationship, the ex-romantic friendship, the boy lolly, and the strong silent type. All these types of unusual and peculiar ties are what shoujo goes to in order to examine the human experience. The angle at which shoujo uses relationship is also far more analytical. Not only does shoujo often show the arc of friendship and how, with great care, relationships evolve and change, it also breaks into the mind of each character. It is very common to allow each character to have time in episodes based around their character or arc to pull focus from the main character to illuminate their story, as in many anime. But in shoujo, it is often the practice to allow multiple characters to regularly have first-person internal and external monologues of their own feelings throughout the series. You'll be given as intimate and timely responses as what one character thinks and feels about the actions or even gestures their scene mates are making, through shots that catch the most minor of reactions for the audience, or even internal thoughts and dialogues. The level at which and the care given to these depictions of relationship are almost religious. They seem to have an ethos that could be described in terms of a connection to restore a life, much in the same fashion as aspects of Eastern religions, which seek in ways to reform the self to a clean or natural state, but also in some ways like Western religions, which in biblical practices, despite also focusing on compliance and ritual, describe the true and full religion as loving others as yourself, doing for others, particularly those who are less fortunate, like those imprisoned or poor. Shoujo does this in a similar fashion, as it pours a lot of character development into the journey that one character will guide another character through, to reach some type of fulfillment or peace or stability.
Throw that on the ground? Honestly.
Thank you, Hachiko.
Shoujo in its depictions also highlights the presence of queerness as an aspect of the feminine, as queer identities are both less rigid and more relational than heteronormative identities. They would fall closer to the feminine ideal. Moreover, shoujo from its inception has made queerness, i.e. non-conforming gender and sexual identities, a hallmark of their stories, often making a point of challenging heteronormativity, as seen as early as the 1960s in The Princess Knight, who not only changed from a princess to a knight, but also did so while altering her gender and becoming a man, essentially, while doing so. Today, shoujo showcases a panoply of gender nonconforming depictions, same-sex romantic relationships, which also account for many of the world's first mainstream animated depictions, and general depictions that exist as indifferent to the cultural hegemony of heteronormativity. Now, of the many variety of shoujo in the world, it would be easy to assume that shoujo are quickly identified by their focus on female depictions and protagonists. Yet, many shoujo have males as lead characters, like Natsume's Book of Friends, an anime about a boy who seeks to unbind the spirits whose names exist in a book he got from his mother. And although some shoujo starring male characters are about romance, Natsume's Book of Friends is not, but rather reconciliation, an extension of relationship. So whether starring men or women, shoujo are the stories that appeal to the feminine, the vastly important, but more intangible, fluid aspects of the human condition like relationship, identity, and romance. Like the world we live in, shoujo is more personally challenging because instead of with the power of will, it attempts to tell stories of conflicts that are resolved through reconciliation, a longer and often more painful avenue. Shoujo are feminine in their design and cater to the girl, but with dynamic and nuanced depictions, are programs that all can enjoy.